What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from the Grow Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in New Hartford, New York, and this is their Tatanka. So this is what they're calling a West Coast Pilsner lager that comes in at 5.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is just over 3 weeks old. So recently, a little over a month ago, I reviewed a huge hazy triple IPA from Grow called the Paladin. Absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite triple IPAs of the year. So I didn't plan on reviewing anything from them probably, for a couple months, probably not until like November, December. However, I saw them release this one, and as a lot of you know, if you've been following the channel over the past year or so, I'm in my West Coast hop forward beer phase. So I love old school West Coast IPAs, modern West Coast IPAs, and also West Coast Pilsners, very popular over the past handful of years. And here in New York State, but more specifically Western New York, you do not see a lot of West Coast Pilsners. So whenever I see one released, I have to try it. And that's why we're trying this one. So this one is brewed with Citra hops and then lightly dry hopped with Citra Hyperboost. So we got the hashtag proper glassware. It is a Grow glass, so it is proper. Shout out to Joe over at Joe's Arcade. Anyway, we're going to crack this one open and get in the glass. I also want to apologize to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Curtis, because he sent me a West Coast Pilsner that I already reviewed, but I haven't posted it yet. The reason? Well, the sheer amount of beer mails and just themes on my channel, from Western New York Wednesdays to shelfy beer reviews to even Macro Mondays and stuff. I have a lot of beer on hand, but I have reviewed that beer already. I just haven't posted. So I do apologize, Curtis. I will get it up probably in the next week or two, whenever I can get it up, put up the video. But at the same time, I just want to let it be known I already had that one to anybody else. So when you see the review, maybe I say stuff in that is different than what I'm going to mention here, but I might compare this to that beer just because I've had it quite a bit in the past. Or I had it recently, and it's the most recent West Coast Pilsner I can think of. So in the hashtag proper glassware, how does that look? Ladies and gentlemen, it looks pretty fantastic. It really does. Even if it won't properly focus in a lot of times. The camera's been doing that lately. Anyway, it has a finger of, we'll do it a little bit further. Maybe it's the bison head over there. We have a finger of a bright white soap sudsy looking head. We also have a beautiful like honey golden color. Has great carbonation. If I do it through the side here, look at that carbonation. It's awesome. It's spritzy. Looks perfect. The clarity is through the roof. You can see my hand through the other side. I also want to mention the name of this one. I think it is paying homage to the Tatanka bison, or the bison named Tatanka in Red Dead Redemption 2. I am a huge video game nerd, and I will say that I'm not the angry video game nerd. People have been coming from all over the place for my Rolling Rock video, which makes sense. But I love video games. Red Dead Redemption 2 is fantastic. But yes, I think it's paying homage to that, but it's in the Bills colors because this is like paying homage also to the Buffalo Bills. So, it makes sense. Anyway, let's get back into the beer. Nose. Oh, yeah. Super fresh. Just over 3 weeks old. It honestly smells like a modern West Coast IPA. It has such a beautiful citra aroma. It is like peach, over-ripened peach, maybe even a little candy peach, like a gummy ring. Beautiful citrus fruit in this one, a ruby red grapefruit, a little bit of like a mandarin orange. It has a little bit of a juicy kind of nose to it, juicy, sweeter kind of citrus fruit, but also pithy and rindy. And then it has this pine floral kind of hop character as well. A little bit of that grainy, kind of crackery, slightly bready Pilsner malt. A slight, there is no Nelson in here, but it has a little bit of that like diesel-y kind of fuel nose too. It just has such a freshness about it. A little bit of a grassiness. Maybe a touch of like a passion fruit. Dude, this smells absolutely fantastic. It's making my mouth water. And when that happens, I know that I'm ready to dive in for the taste. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Listen, Grow just makes good beer. They know how to brew beer. Garrett's fantastic. He knows what he's doing. And this is fucking awesome. This is awesome. Go back in for another sip. First thing I notice about this is how crisp and clean it is right off that first rip. But then the hop character hits the palate, just like it's an explosion of deliciousness. So the body in this one, it's not thin. I'd say it's like lower side of medium, which is fine for 5.5%. It's a little bit lighter than you might anticipate. Maybe not, but I think a lighter side of medium is kind of appropriate for a 5.5% Pilsner. Mouthfeel might be a little bit softer than anticipated. So, you know, Pilsners, crisp, moderately to a touch over moderately carbonated. This is like straight on moderately carbonated, maybe a skosh under. Still has like a nice crispness as a whole, like on the finish, but it's not as spritzy as I was anticipating. I actually like that. It has a beautiful smoothness going down on the second half of the palate as well. So I like the mouthfeel a little bit more than body, but they're both pretty good for what it's supposed to be. The taste is sensational, like absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. Right at the tip of the tongue, Pilsner malt. So it has that crackery, slightly bready thing, dives underneath the palate, hits again on the back end. Never steps in the way of all that beautiful hop character, which is producing just gobs of citrus character, ruby red grapefruit, both like the pith or like a juice. Same thing with like a mandarin orange, more of like a rindy kind of orange, a little bit of a juiciness or like a sweeter kind of like orange peel. As it passes through, passion fruit, a lot of passion fruit for me. I'm getting big smack of passion fruit, over-ripened peach, as I said, apricot, stone fruit as a whole. Not quite into like the candied gummy ring kind of aspect, but more of just like a sweeter kind of feeling to it. And then on the second half of the palate, this beer dries out. This is very dry. This is firmly into almost bone dry with a mild to moderate bitterness, more approaching moderate. It has a huge floral, slightly resinous pine quality with a nice grassiness, a little bit of a dank quality as well. A slight diesel-y dank thing is beautiful. Like I could drink pints of this. This is fantastic. Like I'm loving it. I'm loving West Coast beers. I never thought when I first started drinking craft beer when I hated IPAs. And then even when I got in IPAs, it was like, all right, give me hazies. I want them sweeter. I want them super soft, smooth, and creamy. I want them, huge fruit character. I don't want any pine or, any resinous qualities. I don't want to be floral. I don't want it dry and bitter. That's what I want now. My palate has changed immensely. And something like this just, it's so fucking good. 5.5%, you can't tell. Yeah, I could drink all of this. And it has fantastic glass lacing, as you can see. Yeah, it's another winner by Grow. Grow is not known really outside of New York State, outside of maybe see the reviews from a couple good friends of mine and fellow beer tubers, Dan and Mike over at FLX Beer Reviews. They kind of were pumping them up in the early going. They still drink their beer, still speak highly about it just like I do. But if you're in New York State and if you ask me like 3 underrated breweries, they would be one of them. They do fantastic stuff. I don't think I've had like a bad beer from them. I've had some maybe that little underwhelm me compared to the other beers they're known for, but like from the label to the name to everything, and then you throw in the fact that it's a West Coast Pilsner, it's absolutely fucking delicious. You can sign me up. So I think this kind of plays the role. Like a lot of these West Coast Pilsners, sometimes I want a little bit more dryness or bitterness. This has it. Almost approaching moderate bitterness, nice dryness, very crisp and clean on the palate. Gobs, dare I say gobs of beautiful fruity characteristics on the palate, but not overboard. Has that floral pine thing on the finish and just super easy to drink. Like it is what it is. So Tatanka from Grow, low 4.5. I'll go 4.4. This is an awesome West Coast Pilsner. Plain and simple. Nothing more to say about it. Seek it out if you are in the Western New York area. Price point availability, I don't exactly know because I always forget what I spend at Brewed and Bottled, Lewiston, New York. Shout out to Chris and the shop. Yes, Harry. Always shouting them out. Always shout them out all the time. And this was probably like $4 to $5 a can. Bit pricey for 5.5% West Coast Pilsner, but I would assume if you buy this at the brewery or their tap room in New Hartford, probably $14 to $18 a 4-pack. I'd pay up to $5 a can. 100%, because you just don't see West Coast Pilsners in New York State all that often. If you do, a lot of times it's just on draft at the brewery. They'll do like a small batch. It's very hard to find them packaged, but when I do, I'm all in because it's a fantastic style. And availability, it's Grow, New York State, Western New York, Central New York, Capital Region, maybe a little drips and drabs down towards New York City. Outside of that, I don't think they get really outside of New York State as far as I know. So if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. If not, what is your favorite West Coast Pilsner? If you've been drinking them over the past couple of years, I'd be curious to know. This is definitely up there, probably the best, if not one of the best West Coast Pilsners I've had in New York State. It's up there. It's fantastic. You owe it to yourself to try it if you can get your hands on it. If you're here in the Western New York area, more specifically Buffalo, seek this one out. By the time I post this one, I think this can might be about a month old, give or take a couple days. So yeah, it'll still be drinking extremely well. Pick it up. Go to Brewed Bottled, Lewiston, New York. There's a bunch of other bottle shops. Check them out. They probably got their hands on it. So I'm going to shut this one down. Check back next Wednesday for another Western New York Wednesday. And that might be the last one you see because there's going to be 2 during the 10 days of pumpkin towards the end of October. So it'll be the last like normal one. I don't know what I'm going to review, but it will be a beer from Western New York or New York State as a whole. So till the next one. Cheers.